Sometimes the most incredible stories, the most powerful acts of creation, they aren't born from joy. They're born from the deepest, darkest wells of loss. They're a reminder that a single, burning passion can not only rebuild a life, but it can light up a path for an entire country. Well, this is one of those stories. This is the story of K.T.M. Iqbal.
So, meet K.T.M. Iqbal. In Singapore, he's known as a kavi-chirpi, which means a poet-sculptor, a man who literally carved out a legacy with his words. We're talking about a recipient of the nation's absolute highest artistic honor. But to even begin to understand how he got there, we have to go all the way back to a childhood that was just completely shattered by tragedy.
You see, his journey to Singapore, it wasn't some grand adventure. It wasn't a search for a better job. No, it was a desperate, headlong flight for survival. This is a story that begins not with a dream, but with a plague.
Iqbal was born in a small village in India called K.T.M. And when he was just a little tot boy, a devastating cholera outbreak just tore through his community. And it didn't just stay outside, it came right to his family's doorstep.
First, it was his two older brothers. One was 6, the other was 7. And just like that, they were gone.
And then, just a short time later, the disease took his mother. The very heart of their family was ripped away.
The final, crushing blow came when his baby brother, only a year and a half old, also died. Think about that. In just a few short years, a family of 6 was cut down to just 2 survivors, Iqbal and his absolutely heartbroken father. And his father, Tuan Ragamuthula, he knew they had to leave. But his reason for leaving? Wow, it was extraordinary. He told people, look, I'm not leaving because I'm afraid I can't survive. He said, I'm leaving because if something happens to me now, my last son will be trapped here alone. The entire escape, it was all for Iqbal.
So, in December 1951, an 11-year-old Iqbal and his father landed in Singapore. They had escaped death, for sure, but their hardship was a long, long way from over. This new place, it offered them a chance to live, yeah, but it was going to demand absolutely everything they had.
By the time he was just 13 years old, Iqbal was already working. He got a job as an office assistant. And his very first monthly salary? $60. That's it. $60 a month to help him and his father start a new life from scratch.
And if you want a picture of their poverty, get this, they couldn't even afford a room. Their very first home in Singapore was the small, cramped space under a staircase at a building on 59 Trazza Street.
But here's the thing. Even in those dark, difficult circumstances, something else was happening. Something was starting to ignite inside of Iqbal. A deep, powerful love for words, for language, for literature. And that fire was about to change his entire destiny.
I mean, his path to an education was just unbelievable. He had to stop school to work, right? But he refused to give up. He actually enrolled in 6th grade after he was already married, going to school through an adult program. He then went on to secondary school, and eventually he passed the super tough senior Cambridge exam. And not just in the 6 subjects he needed to pass, no, he took and passed all 8.
And there's this one story that just says it all. His father once gave him $1 to go see a movie, which was a huge treat. But on the way, Iqbal saw a book of poetry in a shop window for 90 cents. What did he do? He bought the book, forgot all about the movie, and walked the entire way home, just lost in its pages.
It was almost like a calling. When people would ask him about this deep connection he had, he'd say this: it feels like it wasn't just him choosing poetry, it was like poetry had somehow chosen him.
And he didn't just read books. He built a whole community around them. He and his friends, they pooled whatever money they had and started their own little library, gathering about 500 books so that they could all share in this passion for reading together.
So you take that relentless passion, you combine it with decades of non-stop hard work, and that's how you transform the boy who lived under a staircase into one of the most celebrated and beloved literary icons in his nation's history.
And over his career, wow, did he write. He became this incredibly prolific author, publishing numerous collections of poems for adults about life, love, society, you name it. And he also wrote several cherished books for children. And of course, the recognition started pouring in. He won the prestigious Mont Blanc Literary Award, the Tamizha Vale Award for his huge contributions to the Tamil language, the Regional SEA Write Award, the Kalaratna Award, and then the big one. In 2014, he was awarded the Cultural Medallion, which is Singapore's highest possible honor for an artist.
And really, his journey just came completely full circle.
The boy who had to fight and claw his way to an education, today his poems are part of the curriculum. They're studied by students in schools all across Singapore, inspiring a whole new generation.
This quote from Iqbal himself just perfectly sums up his entire life. He believed that great art, true creations, will find their way. They'll find their audience. He never chased awards, he just believed in the work. And his life is the ultimate proof of that.
Iqbal's story is just such a powerful testament to the resilience of the human spirit, but it's also about the incredible, transformative power of finding that one single, unwavering passion. And it kind of leaves you wondering, right? What's the passion that could change the course of your life?